I have always dreamed of opening the mailbox and just finding a Victorian letter calling me on some kind of adventure. And alas, I'm still waiting on it. So I decided to be the person that makes that happen for my friends' birthdays this year, even if they don't share the same dream. I do Christmas cards every single year, Halloween cards, letters. Like most things in my life, it started pretty simple and then it just spiraled out of control into how much stuff can I put into an envelope and still send it with one stamp. First, I'm going to collect and make a couple of things that we will need for this process.
It's a shame who got put away, 'cause all that is gone, so quick to fade the cows.
These ones are really pretty. Purple ones definitely lost a lot of their color.
Real far now is known. Lifted away, step on the flame, the job is our body, almost staying lost and lost. Crawl to the party and shake some clean hands, only you know what runs in your head is lost. Now we're after midnight, and words can't show it all.
I like to include a painting in every letter that I do, some kind of little art piece. Completely not my sketch at all. I did go out and do a couple of floral botanical paintings. Does it look like it? Not really. I did some leaves, but now I'm like, it kind of looks really Christmassy. So to add a little bit more to them, I did put some of the dried flowers that I had left over on the paintings. I don't know, I think that the sort of scrapbooking found objects, probably not really of the time, but when I think of that time, I do think of things like that. I just made a frame. Is that gonna help save it? I really don't know. I can't decide if the frame is really ugly with this. I kind of feel like it is. I watch all these videos of like fun stickers and memo pads and washi tape on everything, and I don't have that really. What I lack in monetary value, I make up for in effort. There's actually a lot of methods for aging paper. We're doing some tea dyeing here today, folks. Starting out with a white piece of paper. I went into this with the thought that I was going to make it look more old and sort of like a letter that had been lost. Perhaps make a big folded crease. This is really nice with tea dyeing. Tear an edge off, super scrunched, less scrunched. Sometimes it's fun to have more of a scrunched area and then less of a scrunched area. I actually did tea dye with iced tea this time. Essentially just put it into a pan that your piece of paper will fit into, submerge it, and leave it for a few minutes. I'm trying not to get tea everywhere. Although I will say it's not the worst thing to get everywhere. I'd rather have tea everywhere than super glue everywhere. It's like a spa treatment. Don't they do tea baths? It's basically that for paper. I treat my paper better than myself. To dry my paper, I made a makeshift clothesline in the shower. I tied two of my graduation ropes together and pinned all of the paper in there. After we had some paper to work with, it was time to write our letters. Dearest friend, as quick as the wings of a hummingbird, it seems another year has passed us by again. Each season rears its head only to give way to the next before the blink of an eye. So then, finally, we have come upon the most splendid season of all. Yours. It is almost laughable to see people rejoicing spring's daisies or summer's hush warmth, for how could they possibly compete with November, which has given the world you? There are many reasons to love the familiar tones of autumn, but perhaps no greater than this. It is with reverence that I ponder the fate that has brought our lives to become so intertwined. Although there are days in which life's song seems to be absent of your melody, I am reminded that even in the most distant echoes are the greatest impact. Astounding even more is your generosity, kindness, and heart. It could perhaps be likened to a hidden waterfall, not easily found, but once earned, unceasing, and with quiet beauty. Without much to offer in return, I gift a few words in exchange for each ray of sun your friendship casts on me. In return for every enrichment you have provided, I wish you a return tenfold in favor and fortune. Happiest days of November and the ones which follow. With warmth and longing, Lady Devon of the Night. I did also write sonnets because I love poetry. Here I am writing Shakespearean sonnets because I can't afford to buy them again. Traditionally, letters were actually not sent in envelopes. The actual letter that was written was folded and then sealed itself with wax. You would just write the address on the back. Decided I wanted to fold them into sort of like a fancy shape because they wouldn't have fit in the envelope if I had folded them normally. So I found a method of folding that leaves you with a tab that you can pull sort of to unravel the letter. I also made envelopes to put some little surprises in, I guess. Probably not surprises because I send the same things in most of my letters, but this is my go-to envelope folding technique. I love it. I do it for every envelope that I fold. Of course, very characteristic of the time. I really wanted to do some wax seals and include that. However, the Postal Service does have issues processing those sometimes, so I decided a good solution would be to make a smaller envelope on the inside and put the wax seal on that so it could be in another envelope. I made my own seal by sculpting a little shape out of Sculpey and attaching it to a cork. I'm obsessed with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It has shaped a lot of my life. I decided to make the image on the seal the symbol from the Order of the White Lotus. I don't know, secret organizations kind of lended itself to being a seal, and it also went with the botanical theme. I put the seal onto an ice pack to make sure it was cool, put some low temperature hot glue onto the back of some sticker paper so that it would come off easily. Press the seal into the hot glue, wait for it to cool, and then very carefully peel it off from the seal, and then you'll have the image on the hot glue. Different colors of wax were used for informal correspondence. Usually blue and green was used. For more formal correspondence, red was very common. Black wax was used to signify bad news. Painted most of the seal purple, and then I did details in gold. Not a common wax seal combo of the time, but I just wanted it to go with the theme. Don't know if I ruined this one. I think it looks better, way more like the Order of the White Lotus. To bring back the shine that a wax seal would have, I varnished over the whole thing. Usually I include a bag of tea and some stickers. I don't really have many stickers that match this theme. I don't have many, period. So as I often do, I did some hand-drawn stickers. I'm using label paper and just drawing all of the pieces on. We're gonna color them. Kind of sticking to a relatively autumny color palette. Maybe it doesn't look like it, I don't know. Coloring them with markers and cutting them out. I use these in various places, and then I also included some for them. Stick it to a piece of paper, stick it to their face, I don't know. So I made some little containers for those out of plastic sheet protector, folded up into sort of an envelope shape and taped the sides, and then I just stuck the tea inside. I drew some little floral designs on the outside, included some instructions about how long to steep the tea. What am I doing? Minutes is not spelled like that. We'll make that into the tea. Just stuck it closed with a sticker, of course. Drew a top piece with some of the tea dyed paper, of course labeled it because I don't think it's always that obvious that they're stickers. Stapled it shut to make it look a little bit more professional. For the outer envelopes, I used a base of a normal envelope just so that I would have the sturdiness. Because they like throw stuff around in the mail, I'm pretty sure. So covered that with an old newspaper, New York Times, January 2008. All of the movie times. And there's Gandalf. It just gives that old like paper texture that I really like. I'm all about textures. I don't have a brush, so I'm just gonna like use my fingers. Actually, I do have a brush, but I just don't wanna have to wash it. I made spaces for me to write the address lines by using some of the tea-dyed paper. I just ripped off pieces and glued them onto the front in those areas. I wanted to sort of tie the whole thing more together, so I did paint some botanical sort of flower, grassy plant pieces on the outside as well. I went ahead and put a bunch of the stickers on the outside, of course put our stamps on so that our letters can actually arrive, and then it was time to put everything together, seal the back, and send them off.
Might look like the stars, a moonbit scimitar, but she knows it's only nails and boards and the show. A frayed electric cord, peels of paint on the shelf. It looks like coves of caves and bells, but she knows. But when the lights go down, who knows? Who knows?
If there's one thing that I love, it is looking at beautifully done pen paling letters. It's just so aesthetically pleasing. If you are like me and don't have a lot of money, hopefully this can give you some ideas of things that you can do without going and purchasing things. You can make a lot of things that you already have work. I hope you enjoyed. Write your friends Victorian letters. Who doesn't want to get a fancy letter in the mail? I'm hoping my friends think the same.
She keeps her rings and silence wings deep below in a useless heavy coat.